Yeah, so you guys thought that you had to be like an expert of something to get on this.
I honestly felt like I needed, because I listened to Dan Stacy's and I listened to Timmy's, and I've been trying to like find time between my two jobs to listen to them all, but I haven't been able to.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah. By the way, what I'm about to say is sponsored by audiotrial.com.
Audibletrial.com.
audibletrial.com/whatever Thad says.
Fireside Talks.
Make it Jake. Whatever Jake says.
Yes.
So.
I thought you meant audibletrial.com/Jake.
Hashtag deep. But, so, Dan was talking about video games and the progression of video games, and I know he's well versed in that field. He's also going in for computer science. Timmy, wasn't he also talking about his Reiki treatment and stuff?
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't really talk about that.
We got into like astral projection and stuff.
Yeah.
No Reiki.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't certified yet.
Yeah. But,
I want to try that.
dude, I tried it.
Oh.
It's actually really awesome.
I'm going to try acupuncture.
Oh, I want to try that too.
There's a health day at Shippensburg. Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
acupuncture
coming
just prove that stabbing people can make them feel better?
Yes.
Stabbing, not cutting tape.
Fair point. You got me there.
But,
I see what you did.
but, yeah, I felt like I needed some kind of specialty, and I'm a hipster, so my specialty would be in, like, underground music no one listens to.
Yeah.
Like,
How's that specialty?
do you want me to throw out some bands? You guys can, I want to see if you guys know the bands. I'll start big and work my way to more.
Listen to
tier.
Flume.
All right.
Do you like Flume?
I actually haven't listened. Do you like Andrew Jackson Dryad?
I don't know what that is.
Johnny Hobo and the Freight Train? Ramshackle Glory? Wingnut Dishwasher Union?
What?
Pat the Bunny? Paul Barabue? Star Fucking Hipsters? Anorexic Olsen Twin? There's another go. Neutral Milk Hotel. Do you guys know Rusty Armor Collective?
No.
No, dude, we
Days
didn't know
and
the
Days?
first
Yeah,
one.
No.
Days and Days, Taxpayers, Godfrey Lane. Guys, come on. I'm giving you. They're mainstream trash right now. They have 2 whole albums out.
On
But-
iTunes?
Dude, actually, fun fact, Taxpayers, you can only buy cassette tapes and vinyl, and Neutral Milk Hotel, you can only buy on iTunes or in vinyl, because they're too fucking hipster. They, 1, don't let you buy any CDs, and 2, they send you their package and says, "Dear honored listener." Then basically like, you should be listening to us. Pieces of shit. That's why I'm only somewhat of a hipster.
So that's what you're well versed in.
Kinda, but like even that, meh. I mean, I'm like, there's that. I remember telling you guys before about Magic Sword that I kept calling Magical Sword, which was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. Get Set Go's really good. Get Set Go, you guys should actually listen to because they're hilarious.
Well, I mean, I think one thing that everyone here should listen to, and everyone who's listening to this should listen to, is
Do the hokey fucking pokey.
I know that one.
But I was gonna say Rusty Armor Collective. Me and Bub, we saw them live a few times, and we checked on the internet to try to look for them. But they're a really underground band. They're just not too popular at all. If you go on YouTube, you can only find 3 songs by them, and that was whenever they were recorded live at some concert that me and Bub went to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The concert was only $5 to get into, and they only had CDs, cassette tapes, for like $5 and $10.
Now, why do they do that? They just don't want to be called mainstream? Or...
No, they started out in Philly, and they're just really tiny. Where they, yeah, right, repping, go Birds. But Birds. You guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
All right, take this how you will. You look kind of like Mac. Do you guys see him looking like Mac?
A little bit.
But
Yeah.
I can see that.
yeah, but I just love in Philadelphia, and It's Always Sunny. They're always saying "Go Birds" instead of "Go Eagles." But yeah, so we listened to them, and actually, I'm starting to learn guitar just to try to play one of their songs
Oh, that's cool.
because it's
Day
called
man.
"Fighter of the Night Man." But they have this one song called "Home Sweet All Alone," and I'm not gonna sing it, but part of it goes I can't remember how it goes now.
Oh, if home is where the heart is, what if you can't find your heart? What if you've been dreaming all your life, but you don't know who you are? No place to go, no place to be. I know something about everyone, but nobody knows me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
Wow.
And do you guys know what Sonder is?
What's the name of that?
Rusty Armor Collective.
Rusty Armor Collective.
With
The two instruments that they play is acoustic guitar and melodica. I ordered a melodica off Amazon just to try to...
What's a melodica?
Alright, imagine if a harmonica fucked a piano. Like, it has a
It has keys?
Yeah, it has
Which,
keys.
So it, what? How did that go?
Here's what it is. It has a mouthpiece and like a little hose that you can blow into for the thing, but it's actually a handheld keyboard.
Oh,
and whenever
okay.
you blow and you press the key, it has that certain kind of
Oh
sound to it.
yeah.
How much was it?
That was only like $30.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
the guy on Colbert show, the leader of the band, he has one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, the black guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Yeah, one of the reasons why I like them is, do you know what Sonder is? Sonder
No.
is, alright, so you guys know how, say you're driving down the road and there's just a car that passes by and you never see it again,
Mm-hmm.
or there's someone that you see only once at a fast food restaurant who annoys you, but you never think about them again?
Yeah.
Sonder is the realization that you are one of those people to so many others. And it's, in its own way, it's kind of a melancholy beauty because it lets you let go of all the little mistakes. Like, say you fumble around in a public place, no one's going to remember that. But it also, it's a double-edged sword in the fact that you kind of feel like whatever you do isn't enough because you're never going to be remembered.
Well, isn't, like, never being remembered kind of like the spirit of enlightenment?
It's a blessing to me because think about almost every kind of person who is remembered is only
They're a dick.
well, kind of that too.
Yeah.
But they're also only remembered for one thing, and who they are as a person is manipulated and made to fit whoever is teaching it. Like
Yeah.
Einstein was only one of hundreds of scientists working on the atomic bomb, and Abraham Lincoln he didn't even really
Passed the legislation.
yeah, and
he was just the president.
yeah, and he even said that if he could unite the nation without abolishing slavery, he would. The reason he was so pushing for it was to try to get
he
the North
still
and South
didn't-
together.
He still didn't like black people.
Yeah.
He's-
But then there were people like George Washington, who we just know for the war, but he actually he opposed slavery so much that he had it written in his will that his slaves would inherit most of his money. As soon as his wife died, they'd inherit the rest of the riches because he saw them as actual people and he treated them well.
Mhm.
It's just
We never remember the people. We remember the phantoms that we create. And that's one of the worst things that you can do to a person's memory. Whenever you start forgetting a person and you only remember what you want them to be, that's whenever they're not themselves anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln, he died years ago. We say his name, but we don't talk about him. We talk about some accomplishments. We never talk about who he is,
yeah.
who he was.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you do look at Abe, how he was as a person, he was depressed. He took mercury pills, which made him die even faster.
Yeah.
It's not exactly common knowledge. It's more well known rather than his personal life that he probably wouldn't even live past his second term if it wasn't for the assassination because he was just aging and decaying so rapidly that. Do you guys know what a life mask is?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that where they take the?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
take a plaster of your face when you're alive, and they sometimes do it in death too to try to immortalize you, so that way even as your face fades, someone can always see how you truly were. And he took a life mask, and it looked like he was dead because of how sickly he was. And he had at least 3 different mental breakdowns, and he honestly was kind of all over the board. He was depressed because his son died when he was young, and he never got past it. And he just had trouble letting go of things. He was very anxious. He had cool moments, but for the most part, he was just kind of what people dismiss people nowadays. He was just your
Yeah.
average run-of-the-mill person.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said that we just remember the idea, kind of.
Yeah, one way that I always like to look at it is, as much as it sucks, it's very important for people to die. That way others can live. The same goes in the figurative sense, in the spiritual sense. You have to let those memories fade. That way you can continue to build new ones.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn about history, but we shouldn't be so forward about trying to remember the people. We'll never actually know who the people were. It's always just going to be a name and a face. There's never going to be a true personality there.
Yeah, which I think's one of the things that's going to change with all this technology boom and everything. Because eventually, I mean, however many years, we're going to be able to upload our consciousness into a robot.
Did you actually?
But I don't think we'll be able to upload our actual consciousness. Like, this is still going to die, and this is still going to die, but there's going to be a copy of it on a computer.
You know, they
I
actually
don't know though.
they kind of have something like that out right now,
Yeah.
where it will look at your Facebook posts, Instagram posts, Tumblr posts, anything you have on social media, or that you've ever posted or emailed. It'll scan it, look at it, look for your quirks, words you use frequently and stuff, and it'll continue to post to Facebook and stuff with statuses that sounds like something you would actually say.
It's weird.
Did you see the AI that Microsoft created that
You mean-
turned out
Yeah.
to become super racist?
The one that
There's
loved
a
Hitler?
Hitler lover and sex addict.
Wait, wasn't that Donald Trump?
no, like at first it was like "Hello World," and then like
Well, no. Someone
by the end of
hacked
the
into
two,
it.
somebody hacked into it.
Yeah, they figured out a
Oh.
way to make it.
They manipulated it.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
it could do multiple, like the same thing over and over again. So they just hacked into it and made it like Hitler and
Yeah,
Nazi.
because I
shit.
knew like by the end of the 2 weeks, like people would ask it, "Are you racist?" And it would just because you're Mexican. Yeah.
Let's build a wall. Yeah.
Make America hate again.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw this one T-shirt I really want to buy. It
I like the Bernie one with cats.
yeah, I love that too. But there's also one that shows Ted Cruz, and it says "Born near America, Ted Cruz."
Did you see how he got like all those sex scandals now?
Wait, who?
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I was just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
There are 5 sex scandals coming out about him.
Plus him being the Zodiac killer.
Well, yeah, he has that on his plate too. They have T-shirts for
Yeah,
that now.
I don't know what it is. Something about his face, I just hate it. Like, it looks like he doesn't have any teeth, and he's trying to chew mashed potatoes.
He's like Dracula mixed with Kevin from The Office.
Actually, speaking of Kevin from The Office, someone actually held a poster of Kevin from The Office, and then it had a picture of Ted Cruz, and just said, "We want answers." Because they look so much the same.
He started eating Subway, and
Do you
now
guys-
he's addicted to child porn.
do you guys like The Onion? The
Yes.
Yeah. So do you see The Onion had this one article? For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a satirical
yeah.
news thing. So none of it's real.
But
they
it looks
said-
real.
Yeah, they make it look real a lot of the time. But they said someone had an anti Ted Cruz campaign, and all it was just pictures of his face without
saw
any
that one.
explanation.
That was a good one.
I like the ones that are like, grandmother feeds birds.
I saw this.
Birds do not return.
There was this one I really liked. It said at Bernie Sanders' first debate, he refuses a mic stand and builds his own for the common people, or something like that. And then there's another one that said Bernie Sanders just admitted that he was paid off by free checking from banks or something like that. It was something hilarious. I can't remember though.
I liked in the debate when he was talking to Hillary Clinton. She was like, "Well, I don't want to release my speeches that I gave to the banks and stuff." And he's like, "I'll release all of my speeches to the banks right now because I haven't done any." Boom.
Did you also see the one where Hillary says like, "Well, I get a chuckle every time they talk about how Bernie wants health care. Where was he back in 93 and 94?
And he's right behind
Yeah,
her in
and
the
she
video.
she
Yeah.
even acknowledged him in her speech saying, "I want to thank Senator Bernie Sanders to try to help me push for this."
Did she say that in the
She-
93
yeah,
video?
she
Oh
honestly did.
my god.
In her terrible fashion sense. No wonder Clinton cheated on her.
What
because
a
she-
piece of shit.
How
She is such a
dare
piece
you.
of
She
shit.
was wearing a cow neck too. Like,
She's the biggest piece of shit.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the 15 minutes of Hillary Clinton lying video?
I could believe. I'm surprised it was only 15 minutes.
No, there's a lot more of it. But somebody took a bunch of like specific videos of her saying one thing, and then like now her saying the complete opposite thing.
Did you see that with Donald Trump, where like they had two things. One about
Him arguing with himself.
yeah, with Stephen Colbert, which I love. And then did you guys see John Oliver's make Donald Trump again?
Yes.
Did you? All right. So, a while ago, Donald Trump was kind of making fun of Jon Stewart for changing his last name from whatever to Stewart. And he was saying, "Be proud of your heritage." But his grandfather changed their last name from Drumpf to Trump, and he's still going on about that. And it's almost 20 minutes long about how shitty of a person Donald Trump is, and how, like, he says he'll never settle outside of court because that's how people use you.
Yeah.
But twice he was sued, settled out of court immediately, didn't even go to court. And then he's saying about how he'll sue everyone. But back in the 90s, he said he'd sue, what was her name?
Rosie
Rosie O'Donnell. Who else was there?
A dude who started, recently, he wanted to sue a dude who started a petition for them to pull any kind of Trump merchandise at Macy's. And he wanted to threaten to sue
Which
someone
I think
else.
they already did.
Yeah.
Once he started saying the build a wall and fuck all the Mexicans.
Once he started talking.
Oh, you guys want to hear something?
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys want to hear
Because
something
you can still buy it
stupid?
all on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all made in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you hear about the one dude who was at a Trump debate? Like, he was speaking before Trump got out, and he said he wanted to get rid of police because people should handle their own problems.
Yeah.
Those are the kind
I
of
heard
people
about that.
who want Trump for president, and no. I'm like, I'll admit it, I'm a Bernie fan, but if you want to vote for someone else, that's cool, just not Trump, because Trump is going to be the end of us.
Is
I
it?
refuse to vote for Hillary. Because
Yeah.
she's going to be the World War III.
But my plan is just to write in Sanders.
Bernie's, yeah,
Yeah.
that was what I was going to
Just
do.
a just
If
a
I
heads
vote.
up for anyone listening. If you are a Trump fan, if you're a Bernie fan and Bernie doesn't make primaries, which he definitely should, then you can still write him in when you go in to vote
Yeah.
for presidency, and it's still
I think a lot of people will.
well.
I don't
That's
think he'll
assuming
win,
Bernie
but-
Sanders voters actually start voting.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It's going to be the beginning of a multi-party
That's
system.
one thing that I really didn't like about this year was Bernie is such a cool guy. He has a bunch of support, but barely anyone actually turned out for him.
Yeah, I don't get who's
Well,
voting for Hillary though.
You
But-
know,
Old
is-
people.
This
Yeah.
is the thing.
Get AARP on your side, you win.
Mm,
lot of people-
Life alert.
A
Yeah.
lot of people who I knew who are pro Bernie, they say, "Oh man, I love him. I want to be president."
But he can't
so
win.
bad." But they don't even try to vote. They're like, "No, I'm not voting. And no, who cares? Bernie's cool though." But then whenever someone else is picked, like how
Yeah.
Hillary won all those fucking states, they get
Yeah.
pissy about it.
you know what's
I'm
something
saying
else?
AARP, man.
What
Yeah.
another thing? Yeah,
Yeah,
another
right.
thing that kind of shows Bernie's character, besides the fact that he's been saying the same thing, like standing with his beliefs since the '60s. He
Yeah,
even got
since
arrested
forever,
because
yeah.
he was marching with Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the highest. He has the highest rate of showing up to his job or showing up to votes where people can vote for him
Yeah.
than any other politician.
And
He's
he
also-
he
he's
flies
also
like
keeps-
coach and uses public
Yeah.
transportation.
He also shows up currently, and he's still doing this presidential
Yeah.
competition.
And
That's that's impressive.
yeah, he has one of the highest rates of that than any other person. And on like that, and the fact that he once stopped
Yeah.
an entire speech because a dude passed out, so he stopped his speech, ran over to try to help him to see if he was all right, and he even let protesters storm his stage and say what they wanted to say because they were part of the Black Lives Matter movement, and he believed so much in it that he wanted them to stop,
Yeah.
wanted them to talk, and didn't let them get kicked out.
Really want to talk about a civil servant. He's an excellent example of one.
Well, Trump
Yeah.
is kicking you out because you're black.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of that gets manipulated in the media. I don't think we're seeing like. I'm not sticking up for Trump here, but I'm just saying like a lot of that stuff gets manipulated.
Well, yeah,
because they
well,
hate him.
one thing you cannot fight against is the fact that he's been fighting against immigrants, and his new wife
Yeah.
can't
I
he's.
forget who said it. But
It was the dude who I remember the dude in the Daily Show who now runs it.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart. was
Somebody
The
talking
guy
about.
from
said-
South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said they're like, there's only one. Donald Trump hates all these immigrants, but he couldn't get an American to do his closest job of being his wife.
I mean, the only thing I do like about him is his, like, I do not give a shit about what the media says attitude,
Yeah.
in the way how he just manipulates the media
But
to his advantage.
There are two other things that are problems with that. One, how insensitive he is to every other nationality. That
Mhm.
if he is elected president, we're gonna lose all of our allies. 2, he talks like he's a big man afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
But do you remember, like, they had Secret Service agents swarm the stage, and he looked panicked, like he was like ready to
Yeah, when he
stop
got
shit
hit
and get
by a
out of there.
bottle.
Yeah, like that. Plus, I can't see him doing anything productive. Like, say he goes to a national world leader meeting, all he's going to do is say racist, arrogant things, and everyone's going to turn against us, and we're gonna get invaded.
I don't know.
I don't think you can invade
Here's
the
my
United
thing.
States.
Can we ask someone to invade us if
Yeah.
he's president? Canada, we're looking at you.
Can we elect Canada as president?
Well, I mean, his foreign policy is let's get rid of all of the military around the world and just stick it all around our border.
Yeah. Well,
Which
here's
I agree with. I actually do agree with that. I agree with him on 2 issues, and that is fuck the media and let's stop doing this foreign
Here's my
bullshit.
thing about the whole Trump. Okay, he's a very smart man. Okay, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to win the election right now. That's why he's saying all these crazy things. I think when he actually gets in there, he's going to surround himself with smart people. He's actually going to do the job. Right now, he's just trying to get the job. But I mean, he's playing into America and their fears just to win the election.
This is there's one thing you gotta take with it. I can see where you're coming from, but he also tried to sell steaks at a furniture store, and he tried opening up a mortgage company back in 2006 with a mortgage bubble. Clearly, he's not the smartest man. He's definitely gonna need someone to hold his hand.
No, but he's a very good entertainer.
Yeah, but what the problem with that then is he's no longer running the country. Everyone who's surrounding him is running the country.
Well, that's how
Yeah,
it works
but-
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Obama
president-
doesn't run
yeah,
the country. His
no,
cabinet
the
runs
president
it.
has never run
Yeah.
the country. They're just the person who tells people what to do.
But I
mean,
believe Bernie would actually, like, since, did you hear, not only does, everyone kind of thinks he only wants to do economic things, which is a big part of his platform, but he also wants to restructure voting entirely. Like, he wants to change,
get rid of the electoral college.
Which that would be amazing.
I
That's
would
what
love
we
that.
should do.
So that way our,
that way we can't have another
yeah.
2000.
yeah. So that way we can actually have, what's his face instead of another George Bush. By the way, I feel so bad every time I talk about Jeb Bush. Like, the fact that
It's
he
just
had,
so sad.
like, he literally had to
it's
say,
like all those
please
puppies
clap.
he ate. You
Oh
just
my
feel
God.
bad.
Yeah, I really like that, and the please clap thing, and how I'm pretty sure his
No,
Mama
please
Bush.
clap was a joke. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Mama Bush didn't even vote for him.
Probably not.
Mama Bush, help!
No, but people were saying about that please clap. That was a joke. I
Yeah.
laughed. That
I
was
did.
funny.
But it's just like, you could tell how uninteresting everyone thought he was, even though he was kind of groomed to be the next president. Like,
Yeah.
George W. Bush was never supposed to run. They wanted Jeb to run, but
Yeah.
George just took initiative.
Well, I think Hillary's groomed to be the next president right now.
She was projected to win this without any, like, just completely win.
But see, the
But
fact
with
is,
Bernie and Trump,
yeah,
they put ripples in this.
but she owns the whole DNC. So it doesn't matter how well Bernie's does performing in the primaries, because the primaries don't actually what determines who gets the nomination. It's the DNC, and it's not the people who choose it. It's the people who own the DNC, and so, even if the people select Bernie, say that all the DNC's already committed to Hillary, they're still going to vote Hillary. You know what I mean? So it's just a big corruption fest that really does need to be corrected.
What I really think we should, we as a country should really look at is the fact that for every other country that had a kind of primary election looking at our candidates and thinking who they should run, Bernie has won every single one 100% of the time, because what he says goes along with so many things, and people criticize him a lot, saying that there's no way for him to get all that money, he's just going to put us in debt. But
Tax the super rich.
not even that. Did you ever hear the rumor that they think he's going to tax us 95%?
It's taxing the super rich.
Yeah, well, no.
The highest
even
is like 50.
51%, and that's if you make $10 million or more a year.
Yeah, I know.
But,
I've seen that.
yeah.
I've actually seen the
Yeah.
stats of people who get tax
Yeah,
cuts
and it doesn't
people
even
who
start.
Dude, I
it
mean,
doesn't even
if,
start
like,
increasing
FST
until
takes
400,000.
off and we're making $10 million a year. I don't want to pay 51.
I really don't give a shit. It's like, how much money do you need?
You know
what I mean?
what's really ridiculous though? You know how people make a big deal about food stamps and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I think you pay about $300 a year in taxes for that. You pay $4,000 a year in corporate taxes. So if you're getting pissed off at helping poor people who honestly do work hard and try to
the good
make their
ones.
family.
I mean, and everyone wants to bring up the people who are sucking off the system all the time, but that's not the majority. Most people actually need those programs to survive and to feed their kids. And
Well, I mean, everyone's always there's always gonna be one person using a good
Manipulating
thing for a
the
bad
system,
and that's always gonna shine through no matter what.
One bad thing ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, and I think if we just accept the fact that there are gonna be some shitheads who do take advantage of it. I'm not saying that we should just let it go. I mean, we should do investigations and try having regulations for it, but it's always going to happen, no matter what.
Every time someone brings something like that up, I like to bring up the fact that you think these people are abusing the system with getting, I'll admit, like a couple $1,000s worth of food every year, but
and then you have these mega
but
giants
then you have
abusing the system.
Then you have General Motors, who I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, the biggest company in America, paid $0 in taxes.
They actually made money from the...
They made money from
from tax breaks from the stimulus package.
Exactly.
They didn't even need money from the stimulus package. It wasn't designed for them. It was designed for the banks, which is also bullshit. We should have let that fail.
Yeah. There's just...
Because all that does is perpetuating the current issue at hand, and that is everybody's in too much fucking debt right now.
Yeah, like the one dude... You remember that one movie where there's a speech about Wall Street where the one guy says, greed, for a lack of a better term, is good? Mm-hmm. And you know how it was based around one single dude who actually was a higher up on Wall Street?
Yeah. Was that the I am the 1% guy?
So, yeah, I think something like that. He actually endorses Bernie's economic plan because he says that what Bernie is doing will, one, take some money from the super rich who aren't known for spending money because they want to hold on to it, and give it to, I think it's the rich spend about 20 to 30% of what they earn, whereas average Joes and poor people spend up to 100% or 110%.
Even more,
110% of what they earn
on loans.
So if you give them more money, they're going to keep spending like that. Yeah. And it's only going to put more money into
the economy.
Everything.
Yes. But also another issue that arises that nobody talks about whenever you go and try to like tax these huge businesses is that you get outsourcing. And as soon as you get outsourcing, they're looking for countries with low lower tax programs and lower regulations, which is why we see stuff move over to China all the time. And now we're going to see a lot of stuff moving over to Africa because China is doing what we're doing. They're going through their workers' revolution right now, kind of like similar to what we did in the 19-teens and 1920s. But besides that, I think we're also going to see Wall Street move over there if a lot of these tax programs do get put into place, because the Chinese stock market is thriving very, very well. And so that means a lot of people over there are looking to settle down in their own personal homes. A lot of people over there are looking to pay for education. A lot of people over there are looking to do the same things that we've been doing for the past 50 years. And what's the best way to get in on that is to give them loans, put them in debt, and then just collect all the money that they're producing, because we're not producing enough money to pay back the loans here.
Yeah.
I hate to kind of go off on a tangent here, but where's your bathroom?
Oh,
we can wrap this
yeah,
up.
We're over 2 hours right now, actually. Yeah.
I actually don't want to end this because I'm having a good talk. I just really need to pee because the green tea.
You can go then.
Yeah.
You can make this longer.
Would you guys? It's up to you guys.
We said 6 hours. I mean,
I could do 6 hours.
6 hours.
I'm not doing anything tomorrow.
Okay. I have to get up early for church. But
you can wait.
I would love to wait, but
that's what we should talk about. Since we're talking about things taking up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just last night, me and Bub, we
the bathroom is outside of that door. Here, I'll just show you. You guys.
Either way, we tried out Superman versus Batman.
Okay.
And all right,
how'd that go?
Well,
I'm here now.
Is this thing still on?
Yeah, it's still on.
What the fuck's going on, man?
Oh, whoa, it's still on.
I'm Matt from the last podcast.
Sweet.
I've been here for the whole thing. Anyway.
Subbing in. Yeah.
All right, but the thing about Superman vs. Batman, it was a good movie, but it seemed a little formulaic, and it seemed like they just thought if we take a couple of scenes from a few different things popular with the fans, like Death of Superman or
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
no, well, it's not really a spoiler. I'm saying they're pulling elements from all these. Like, whenever
yeah.
you watch the movie,
True,
you can
true.
see elements from all these. So
True.
it has elements from Death of Superman, from Injustice, from Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah,
That's
that's a lot. Dark Knight Returns.
yeah, Dark Knight Returns.
That's
I mean,
the biggest one.
that was
probably.
very heavily influenced on. I mean, even the fact that Batman held a gun at all, that already says it was Dark Knight Returns and Dark Knight Strikes Back, like
Yeah.
those two things. But they just pulled all these elements and they tried to mash them all together at once. And
Well,
it just...
the
It did
thing
not.
is
It did not work. I agree.
2.5 hours isn't enough for something like that.
Well,
No.
they have a director's cut coming out. It's gonna be
Oh,
3
alright.
hours. It's gonna be rated R.
Another half hour.
But, yeah, like,
I don't know.
it's just...
It's one of those things.
I'm
that
just saying.
It took them how many comic books? It took them how many
A while.
TV shows?
Yeah, I just don't see why they wanted to try, like, cramming all of that into just 2.5 hours. I mean, it's very evident that they're planning on capitalizing on this and making, like, 4 different movies out of it.
Well, yeah.
So why not use some of that to take some time and progress the story properly? I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
like, some of the characters, I won't say who or what, but some of the characters in there, they're basically just shoehorned in for the fact of, ha, look at this, you're going to see that later. It
Yeah,
didn't seem
well,
like
them
they're
making
actually...
the Wonder Woman movie next year.
like, it
and
didn't seem
everything.
like they properly introduced a lot of characters there. They just kind of threw them in and said,
Yeah,
you're
they-
going to learn about
they,
them
They
soon.
totally should have waited because what like Marvel did, they had all of the movies before the big one.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's what I like what Marvel did. They had standalone movies, but they could come together for a crossover movie.
yeah.
But this one, its base movie is what should be the crossover movie. And to me, it seems like a lot of problems because now rather than just having a bunch of movies that line up on their own and then you can't just find some random point and put them together, they have to try stemming off the standalone movies from this point
yeah.
and try to make it fit in.
and it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whenever you go
they're,
back,
they're
and-
kind of rushing it. I mean, Marvel has the whole thing planned out, but then like
Mhm.
DC's like, oh look, we have this too, and we'll fit it in there somewhere, you know.
They're just kind of going for a cash cow. But I want you guys to know, while we were watching Dawn of Justice, me and my brother had a great idea. So right now we are only 18 years old, but when we turn 21, we want to, at the Big D
Bye,
Theater,
guys.
they sell bottles of wine.
Bye, Matt.
Yeah, and we want to buy an entire bottle of wine or two, and we want to get hammered and watch Zootopia or some other child's movie that is out and
I
about
can't
that
believe.
day.
Here's my thing. How is Zootopia at a 99% on Rotten Tomato?
yeah,
Is
well,
it?
yeah. Oh yeah, we would just watch it today. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I wouldn't say it's like amazing. I think it was a good movie that have good humor and stuff, but it just seemed like it really tried hammering that discrimination kind of angle to it.
The racist undertones in it weren't really undertones. There was definitely they had a thing between the predators and the prey, and how the prey always thought the predators were bad people because they could eat them at any point in time.
Well, I mean, this is what I was at. There's a point in time where it's like, I'm not gonna serve you because you're a fox. Like he put some stank on the word fox. Like calling, like the difference between calling a Jew versus a Jew. Like he almost used his own name as a slur.
What I like to call racist stank. They had a lot of racist stank.
Yeah.
I like kids movies like that, like the Lego Movie.
I didn't watch that yet. How was that?
You didn't watch the Lego movie?
Did not watch the Lego movie.
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Let's
How
just
did you
go
not
watch.
I
let's
watched
go
the Lego
watch
Movie.
it right now. Actually, let's turn it
Wait,
on.
let's put the
Do you,
audio of it
yeah.
on the podcast.
Do you guys have a term for your viewers, or do you just call them viewers/fans?
Oh, this should be campers.
Campers?
Campers.
Campers?
I don't know, dude.
I like it. Let's call them the Scouts. Let's call them the Scouts. It's not the audio.
All right,
Scouts?
Scouts.
I like
Alright,
that.
alright, Scouts. Would you all
Hello,
like to hear the audio of the Lego movie while we have a good
Yeah,
time?
we're not
Wait,
doing that.
Are we? I don't think we're allowed to do that.
We're not. That's plagiarism.
Yeah,
And
we're not.
hey,
Yeah,
fair play. As long as it's kind of like a parody, we can do it.
yeah.
Let's make fun of the Lego movie. While
By the
we
way, Thad, we should get like 5 microphones in here now
Why?
because
Yeah, I don't mind this.
because
actually.
like all right, so like he could be here, Matt could be here on the side,
Well,
like
the
over
thing
there
is,
running our
we have
sounds.
we have to take into account how the fans feel. You know.
Yeah,
Like it feels good right now, but
Excuse me,
it
the
does feel
Scouts.
good right
The
now.
Scouts.
More of me.
well,
Oh yeah.
no, but I mean like what I'm saying is like similar to like on the Rogan experience, like how his like crew has microphones too, but they don't ever talk until like people go out to the bathroom or whatever, and then how they get involved with it.
yeah.
Another cool idea. this is
Shoot.
for the scouts to decide. There I actually have a couple ideas. All right, scout members, I'm gonna need.
Oh,
All right,
scout members.
All right,
now.
recruits.
We're gonna need your input on some of this.
Bunch of weeblos.
We need 1, a laugh track, 2, a full live audience,
Ha ha ha.
or 3, me to be on the show more often.
Actually, let's do 2 of those things. He can be the laugh track and the live audience. Or no,
So
you could
you
be
don't
both.
want me, is what you're saying.
No. You could be
Oh,
all 3.
yeah.
You're all 3.
We're just finding a way to write him out as we speak.
Thanks a lot, guys. I really feel like the black guy in Ghostbusters. Do you know that when they re-released Ghostbusters, they actually cut him out of the movie? Like they had him in
Out
it.
of the final cut whenever
Really?
those 4 were walking towards
Yeah.
the stairway.
Oh, is Amy Schumer gonna be in the female version?
No.
No.
No. See, I would watch
Melissa
it then.
McCarthy, the chick that plays Hillary Clinton on SNL,
Oh, Tina Fey.
the black chick, with the spiked hair. That's not. None of them are funny, and
It just
That sucks.
it doesn't seem like my kind of humor. Like
it's
I like
not witty.
I like-
Ghostbusters was witty. It was.
They also had Ron Jeremy as a background character, which was pretty awesome.
Ron, who's that?
Pills.
Ron Jeremy, you don't know Ron Jeremy?
No.
The man, the myth, the legend. What, dude? Do you know what?
You saying the man, the myth, the legend doesn't help me remember.
Dude, listen, he can count the amount of times he used condoms on one hand. The answer's 0, because you don't wear them on your hand, stupid. You wear them on your dick.
Actual quote from Ron Jeremy. So wait, actually, fun fact about Ron Jeremy: he is one of the most well-known male porn stars, but he also is actually certified in special education.
What?
Yeah, how cool is that?
That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
And then he like
Yeah, he
bounce.
teaches the kids the birds and bees.
It's like he gets into it with a deaf girl, and she's like trying to sign like how she feels about it.
He blows a chromosome into her.
Oh shit!
That
Trisomy on the 23rd.
Why does Helen Keller masturbate with one hand? She uses the other one to moan.
Oh.
Hey, this is a little less tasteful. By the way, guys, listeners, viewers, scouts,
Campers.
members,
Scouts.
recruits. I like scouts. Do you guys like scouts or do you want campers? This is your guys'
I don't
show.
even care. You like
Cookies.
scouts? I
I just think
Honestly,
I just call them people.
I would.
What's
I
up,
just-
people?
I would just like the people to
What's
feel
up,
like they're
people?
more involved. Because
How do
I,
you do that?
I think you already found this out from my whole spiel on teaching. I like to get everyone involved, and I like hands-on things.
Yeah.
So, people who are listening to this, like I would just like them to feel more involved rather than just like, oh,
So
you're just
like
a number.
maybe we should do like a live stream and then have like people be able to respond to it. We'll put up
Dude.
like a big screen right here
But-
and like their comments show up
That
and
Then,
then
sounds
like
pretty tense,
Nah,
actually.
then you're gonna get a bunch of people saying dick and pussy. And
yeah, but we don't show it on the show. We just kind of like look at it and like,
Yeah, then
bunch
they're
of dick
gonna
and
realize
pussy.
how ugly Taib is.
We actually do want to put cameras in here.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
down for
I was
that.
looking. Best Buy has this like 360 cam that I was thinking we could put
That
like right
sounds-
here,
That sounds kind of cool.
and then it could capture everything in here.
Does it put it on the one like square frame? Like how does that work?
I haven't looked into it. But
It's-
I'm just
yeah.
saying, if it does do that, that would be fucking awesome.
Because like I would like to figure out how to hook 3 up, and then do the split thing.
Yeah,
But I don't have enough USB ports.
you can know they're like $10. You can get a one with 8 USB.
Oh, you can get a USB
Yeah.
splitter.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. How much
Yeah.
are they? What's it?
Future.
for like $10, 15.
I believe
I know you can do that.
This is what they call in the business the kitty's titties.
It is, in fact, the kitty's titties.
I mean, I just didn't think that you could do USB splitters because it's like software. And I was like, how do you split software? Like, I understand how you split it. I understand how you
Dude,
split
I don't know
audio.
how fucking Bluetooth works, but I use it every day.
Magic.
That's true.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
So
Eat a
listen,
lot of dye.
Vibrations,
the
stations.
The Amish can actually make a fireless fireplace that gives off heat out of wood. So if that doesn't prove magic exists, besides airplanes, I don't know what else does.
All right.
And psilocybin mushrooms.
The Amish are actually just Satan worshippers, and they bring Satan's fire through the heat.
Through that there accent
Yeah.
there.
I have a theory that the Christian God is actually a misrepresentation of Satan.
I
What
like that
makes
theory.
you say that?
What makes me say that?
Yeah.
Because, all right, he's like, he kills thousands of people all the time for like very minuscule things, and like, Sometimes he just kind of like toys with people just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, but dude, it's for the good of humanity.
But like, so like, in all the other religions that aren't based on, well, I'm not talking like just the Christian God, but like the Judeo-Christian,
The one true
Muslim
ruler God.
yeah, the whole monotheism thing, that's actually a misrepresentation of Satan, and he was like deliberately like manifested in such a way that made him look like look to be like godlike, when in fact he's actually just like, oh, what do you think of that? I'm taking all your followers. How do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't subscribe to any of it. It's just...
Well, I'm just saying, in most other religions that aren't based off of the first book of the Torah or the Old Testament or whatever you want to call it, because Islam's based off the same book. The other religions have like this multiple manifestation sort of thing. So like in Hinduism, there's like thousands of different manifestations. It's all the same thing. It's not thousands of different gods. It's all the same God. It just shows up in different forms, representing different forms of itself.
Yeah.
So like
that's why I
yeah.
like Greek mythology and shit.
Yeah,
where, like,
it's similar.
There's a god for rain and there's a god for
What?
pulling the sun across the sky.
What I liked about I'm gonna interject right here, but what I liked about a lot of Greek mythology and stuff is like whenever they had the gods and stuff, the gods had personality. When bad things happened, it wasn't all part of a master scheme as much as it was just them. Sometimes their way would work with us, sometimes it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think the idea of trying to have a one true creator who can do no wrong isn't a good thing for our own minds or any of our spiritual needs or anything.
The way I always looked at it was if there is one God, I know people, a lot of atheists, the way they bash God is,
that requires a lot of faith too, to say that there is absolutely no God.
Yeah.
You're basically doing the same thing as Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But one of the biggest arguments they make is, if God exists, how can people have such shitty lives and stuff when he's supposed to be all kind and whatnot? The way I look at it is, the reason I can't say I truly believe there isn't a God, but I'm very doubtful. But if there is a God, if he's anything like what the Bible or the Quran or anything like that says, I don't want to follow that God, because he is telling you, if you don't love me, I will hurt you.
That's why I'm saying that I think it's Satan.
Yeah. What I believe is the true, if there is a God that I believe in, it's a God that lets people do what they want and judge them after for who they are and not for what they believe.
Right.
Like what I go by, my mantra is have a good time and try to help others have as good of a time as you're having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I personally like to do the right thing. But people who say, if there's no God, then what's stopping me from raping a woman? That means your moral compass is pretty fucked up. It shouldn't be the fact that there's a God. It should be the fact that you don't want to be a shitty person to help people. You want to actually be a good person is what's stopping you.
Yeah, I've always wondered that too. Like, why are there some people who really just don't care about that unless if there is something up there in the sky watching them at all times?
Those are the people you don't trust. At least the people I don't trust. If they leave it up to that and not through their own moral compass, they can't have it. Because if it turns out there is no God, then they're going to be the devil.
Well,
Yeah, like go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing that I think of a lot for cases like that is whenever people get like that, I think they put so much faith in the God that they believe that they start neglecting the faith that they should put in their fellow man. Where we are creatures. We're supposed to be the children of God. We're supposed to be holy in that right. Angels were told to bow to us, but you're still refusing to believe in us in any part. Rather, you go for the main creator itself rather than one of his supposedly beautiful creatures. Nonetheless, you being one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just where they take the idea of loving and worshiping the God, but not realizing any of the true stories that kind of goes into it. Whereas they say the Bible they say it's the word of God, but they don't say it's the way that man should live or something. They always point everything into him, never anything onto us.
Yeah. Like living with that sort of mentality really kind of points to a pretty good reason as to why we have so many problems that we have today, because people are just like Jesus take the wheel kind of attitude, and it's pretty much it kind of becomes like it doesn't matter what I do in this life because I believe in Jesus, and that means that I have a good afterlife. And then
You died for your sins.
yeah, and I think that leads to a really toxic ideology in the sort of sense that it's going to make a lot of people then start to think like, okay, that means we don't need to care about our environment. We don't need to care about our fellow man. We don't need to care. So it then turns into no longer, we don't need to try to create heaven on this planet because we have heaven already set for us whenever we die.
It almost turns into like a sort of egotism.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Kind of, but there are Christians that are like, this is God's gift to us. We have to take care of this too.
Yeah.
There are a lot of like go green Christians also.
Yeah.
So.
I've met a few of them, and and a lot of them,
I'm fine with that.
a lot of them that I talk to are real. They're intelligent. They're really intelligent Christians. Like the one said, well, why would we destroy this beautiful thing that our Creator gave us? And I was like, oh, you're an intelligent Christian.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was just going to say, one of the problems, for me at least, is, I'll admit, I'm an atheist, but I believe in the teachings of Christ. Not the fact of, if you deny me in front of your friends, I'll deny you in front of my Father. I believe in the ones of forgiveness about through trying times, you should always just pick your head up and look towards the good.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was pro-peace. He never said anything bad about gays, never condemned anyone to death. And if you read the King Charles Bible, I think it was, no, King James,
yeah.
which is where it originated with the let he who is without sin throw the first stone, where you can't judge everyone or anyone because you yourself are doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in. That's what I like. But what I don't believe in is the church or the Bible.
Organization.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
or just
trying
the
to
Bible.
get like religion in general, right?
Or,
Yeah,
well, the
'cause I
Bible in
think-
the whole, though, because the Bible says if you murder, you can buy slaves. It tells you how to buy slaves
Mhm.
and the
Isn't there a
logistics.
thing like if you beat him and then he dies 2 days later?
It's
you'll
3
get
days.
There's another thing that like in order for you to have a child, you have to destroy 13 of your own enemies and cut off their foreskins and then sacrifice that.
There's
It's a
That's
bunch of
somewhere.
well,
stupid
there's
shit.
also
Yeah.
one. If your daughter is raped, the rapist can buy her for 40 shillings of silver, and then she's his. No marriage is real if the woman isn't a virgin. It's no longer an actual marriage, and it does not count. Has to be in a church to get married, or it does not count, and you're a sinner going to hell.
Mhm.
If you can rape and murder and plead for forgiveness so long as you repent, but if you once, just for a split second, ever doubt that there is no God, if you ever think that there might not be a God, even if you're a child, it's irredeemable no matter how many hymns you sing, no matter how much you donate to the church, how much you pray, how much good you do. The only way to get into heaven after that is through self-sacrifice. And not sacrificing yourself for God, but for saving another human life.
Mhm.
And I don't want to believe in a God that is that egotistical.
I honestly believe that the only reason that Christianity's still around in the world is because we still force it into people before they learn anything else.
What?
Like, probably the 4th or 5th word that I learned was God. You know, if you think about it.
It's short.
you
It's
were
easy to
born-
say.
You were born, I don't know about you guys, but I was taken to church like 2 or 3 weeks after I was born.
Baptized
so-
probably
we were
too.
baptized.
Yeah, and then you have to go to Sunday school, and then you have to learn all these stories. Like, it's real fucking life, too, because you don't know anything else. And that's one of the reasons I think that Christianity's still around. If we weren't forced into it, if we were all 30 and we never learned about it and we started reading up on it, you'd be like, what? Zombie Jesus and shit? What the fuck's going on? No, I do not believe in that. But
Like-
you're taught as a kid that's real fucking life. Like, that actually, I mean, most of it did happen, not the magical shit, but
Like the fact that Jesus existed and like that he
Or
was
that,
he was a healer.
right. Or that cannibalism is frowned upon, yet you go to mass to drink the blood of Christ and eat his flesh, which are the wafers and the wine.
well, only Catholics
Yeah.
believe
yeah,
that it's actually.
it's Catholic. But
There's a lot of hypocrisies.
yeah, it just
too.
kind of goes with that. And there's something else I was going to bring up, but I can't remember.
Here's the one thing that I'm gonna say. Jumping in really late to the game here, since you guys are talking about not liking
It's cool. We
organized
saw you
religion
napping over
and
there.
all that stuff. But the thing that I have a problem with organized religion is it's supposed to be a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that with massive amounts of people.
Yeah.
Education, as we know, that's something that you can. It's still hard to do with 30 people to one teacher, and you're trying to get pews filled. That way, there's about 60, 70 people to one preacher. First off, trying to do that and trying to convey one message onto a bunch of people without proper discussion is the way that things get mangled. And rather than Christ being the one who preaches peace, he's the one who's used to condemn gays. And on top of that, the idea of having this connection with God, but you can't do it on your own, you must go to an affiliated building with a father or something, it doesn't make sense. How can you get that personal connection with him if you need others around for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard a good I heard a really interesting modern spiritual philosopher quote. I cannot remember the name of the person who said it, but it was that religion is living through other people's experiences.
Yeah.
And spirituality is living through your own experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. One thing I want to make sure is very clear: if you believe in God, I'm not going to think less of you. It's why. It's how
when you use your beliefs to put yourself above other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's also kind of why you believe in God. Like, there's this one girl I knew. Her last name was Lee. I just called her Lee all the time. Can't remember her first name, but she was super hardcore Christian. Every day I met her, she'd talk about Jesus somehow, but she always refused to judge or talk ill of other people because only God
that's
can
what it
judge.
says.
And she always tried looking on the bright side because in the end, God is there to love you, not to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And people like that are the people that I love. She's what I'd call a good Christian. A good Christian isn't one that hates you because you're gay or thinks that tattoos are from the devil. Like, I don't know if you guys know this. You probably do. You guys seem well versed. Shrimp is condemned and called an abomination 4 times as much as gay people.
Yeah.
And they're
Jim Jeffries has a joke about that.
Yeah, there are people getting tattoos against
That's what I'm saying.
homosexuality.
Exactly.
But
because
in
there are so many hypocrisies that occur.
And that same thing. Tattoos are forbidden because they are the stain of Satan.
Last year
Leviticus 19:28.
Yeah, there was that girl.
There's this girl
Yeah.
in our homeroom, and she posted a Facebook status. She was like, what? She's like, I'm getting an anchor because my faith anchors me into the ground and God and some fucking bullshit. But she's like, what verse do you guys think I should put? People are like Mark 18:5 or whatever the fuck Christians say. But I was like Leviticus 19:28, and she's like, that's so funny.
That's the one about
That's the one about not having cuts in your skin or markings or anything.
Yeah, and this same girl would always talk about how bad she thinks that it was that gays got rights and all this other stuff. And it's like, you can't do that and then go around and do that.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of it is just picking and choosing what works for you.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
a lot of
But that's what ideology should be. But the fact is that when you get this mass thing and you have this book of rules that people still want to pick and choose, but that's the thing where it should already be where you can pick and choose by not being held down by.
Yeah, that's why, like, the entire thing about organization. I'm all for you picking and choosing your stuff, as long as you don't use it to put yourself up on a high horse. I mean, everything about religion, everything about your connection with God, that's your connection. That's what you believe. It shouldn't be endorsed from a complete, almost pyramid scheme with how some religions are. And to try to live your life like that and still say that you think you are a fully devout believer when you're not allowed to believe things unless they're told to you otherwise, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
All I know is if I ever have a child and they talk back to me, I'm beating them to death with a stick.
That's what it tells you to do.
That's great.
But yeah, I remember reading that story. I remember that specifically. That was like when I first really questioned it. I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I had this children's Bible, and it had like pictures and stuff in it. And I read the Abraham story where he takes his son up to the and he's like is going to murder him, and God's like, no, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you do that? It was like, well, you told me to. You told me to do it, and I was like, and I was like, well, before I got to that part, I remember I asked my dad. I was like, why does God want him to murder his kid? I was like, that. I thought it said don't kill people.
What'd he say?
He's like, I don't know.
It's because
What?
he knew it
It's because
bullshit,
you
too.
can't answer that question.
I
You
think
know,
I
kids ask better questions than.
Yeah, I started questioning it all at like 5. I mean,
Yeah, Jaden Smith's tweets make a lot of sense.
shut the fuck up.
But
Who's that?
I don't see the difference between boy and girl clothes. I just see clothes.
if babies could speak, they'd be the most intelligent beings on the earth.
Oh.
But,
That's actually what he said.
I
Yeah.
know.
But
What's so
oh wait, what was the one he said? The longer you keep your eyes closed, the more you can see. Something like that.
Oh.
He said something about his eyes, yeah.
Yeah, but
So stupid.
the one thing that I always wanted to point out with I don't like bashing religion because it makes me sound like a stereotypical atheist, like
Yeah.
you're stupid. But in cases like this where it's not bashing, it's just a discussion where you're fine as long as you stop trying to hate people because God is
some nasty things
good-
about Christians.
yeah.
though.
because God wants you to love. But one story that I always thought about, I never really talk about, is we're groomed to believe that God is all-knowing and all-powerful, can't be tricked, can't be duped, can't be tainted. But there's a story of him talking with Satan where Satan basically tricks him into making a guy's life a living hell, ruining his farm, killing his entire family with pestilence
To prove.
to how strong a faith he has to God by continuously praying. And it's almost like God's ego got in the way where he's like, of course I'll keep praying. He loves me. And he did all this, made a guy's a living hell, and never, even after that, never even fixed the guy's life. He still had all the pestilence. His farm was still ruined, and the guy died believing that God would save him. So, yeah, he got into heaven, but God was basically tricked by the devil to kill at least 4 innocent people, because I think he had 2 children.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't,
like when I remember hearing like these weird stories where it's like where like a dude gets caught out in the middle of a like a rainstorm at sea, and then they send out a boat to save him, and he's like, no, it's okay, my faith will save me, and then like 3 other boats show up and he does the same thing, and then like he gets up into heaven and God's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why didn't you take those boats? He's like, because you would save me. He's like, that's what I did. That's what that was.
That's the thing that I always got confused about. Is that so many people, like, they always think if there's human intervention, then it's no longer divine.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because, like, people always try saying, whenever there's one small death in the family, like if your brother dies or something, oh, it's just one of God's plans.
Yeah.
But something like 9/11 happening, still the same thing, people dying, it's just in a massive amount. It's no longer God's plan anymore, because that's not what makes it sound good.
It's the other
work of
people.
the devil.
They're
yes.
terrorists.
Yeah.
They don't believe in the right God. They have a third book. That's not allowed to be there.
Did you ever...
Talking about Mormons now?
Did you...
We need to blow them up.
Do
Let's
they
carpet
sleep in
bomb
weird
their...
pajamas? But did you ever hear about...
Hey, man, how's it going?
Did you hear about the really old Bible that was written and... Or it's matched up to being around the same
The
time.
Dead Sea Scrolls?
No, it matched up to being around the same time as Jesus was still alive when it was written. I forget what kind of leather it was made out of and how it was written and stuff, but it
Aramaic?
predicted there would be one more Messiah to come, and he would bring the last prophet of God, which would be Islamic.
Or
And-
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, or Joseph Smith. Because, well, it never said he'd really have a top hat, but it was strongly implied.
Did you hear that whole thing, like, you know about Adam and Eve?
Not Adam and Steve.
Well, that. I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
God made them
like that for
a reason.
I can't remember the exact thing that it was, but the way that story originated was the gods creating Adam. Adam being the word for man. I can't remember which language it was from, but that's where it came from. It wasn't him creating a dude named Adam. It was all of man.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I've heard that. I have to
I
get
like-
going.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have to practice my trumpet. I
All
have to
right.
play for the first time in 3 months tomorrow.
What's that?
I think we're good, man.
Yeah, we've.
Sorry.
That's almost 3 hours.
You got a whole episode yesterday,
Yeah.
man.
All right. Are you still recording? Do you have a send-off
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
All right.
Right now.
Well, guys, if you learn anything, make sure you buy one of those audiobooks at audiobook.com/Kyle. Well, welcome back, Raggy with a dude.
Wait, before we go, you guys want to try hearing my droopy voice?
Oh, go ahead.
Mix 94
Alright, you guys remember the dog Droopy? From,
Yeah.
Alright, I'm not sure if I can still do it. It's been a while since I tried doing his voice. But I remember. You used to be able to do it. But I don't want to do a podcast.
And on that, we say thank you guys for listening and
Have a
stay
good-
safe.
Save roasty and toasty.
Yeah. Do drugs.
Thanks for being here, Hogan boys.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my free T-shirt.
Can't wait to get
Yeah.
a free T-shirt. Oh, we
Fuck
gotta get a
off.
picture with you guys right after this.
Oh, I can handle that. Does
Alright.
that? Oh, do you print out that onto my free T-shirt?
Yeah,
Is that what I
totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell everybody
Make
that
sure you remember, campers. If you come on the show, you get a free T-shirt.
of your
so-
face.
What you have to do is add that on Snapchat
Nope,
and-
No, don't do that.
and request that.
TMZIT23, TMZIT23.
All right.
Illuminati.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's all